Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Forceful. I'm a head coach of Ape R6 in the U.S. Challenger League. Today, I was going to take a look at the operators. Neon Dawn, it's been out for, about a week or so. So I wanted to take this opportunity to actually examine the operator tier list that we see in front of us and kind of give you guys a gauge or a sense to see, what are some of the stronger operators in the game that are going to provide you with more wins, both in competitive and in ranked. And what are some of the operators you should be avoiding with this upcoming season? Did some operators get hit harder than others? That's what we're looking to find out right now. To break it down, we've broken it down into 6 categories. Pretty standard stuff. So S is what I consider meta operators, which stands for the most effective tactic available. A is operators that if you pick them, they will always be strong. They'll never be a weak operator. B, situationally strong. So in the right situation, they're really good operators to bring. C is situationally good. Operators that kind of, they have their moments where they can be useful to the team. They definitely can contribute, but they're kind of a little bit more niche, and you need to have someone that's really good with that operator to back it up. D are operators that they're misclassed right now. There's not really any real reason to bring them unless you're bringing them on top of the operators ahead of them that are already in their class. And F is trolling. So basically, if you're bringing this operator, you're kind of memeing around. Not so much in ranked, because in ranked really anything is viable, but more in competitive. If you're picking one of these operators, you're trolling. You're wasting everyone's time. There's nothing that this operator really brings to the table. And to kind of gauge this, Old Tachanka. Old Tachanka was an F tier operator. He was an operator that doesn't stay mobile enough in a game that is required to be mobile if you're trying to use his utility. So his utility actually hurts you more than it actually helps you on the team. If you're using it, you're stuck in one location, especially in competitive, you're gonna die for the most part. There are times where it's okay. The only example that really comes to mind is Oregon Basement trying to hold trench, but for the most part, it's kind of a troll operator. So with those tiers, given or listed out there, we're going to crack right into this, and we're going to get going on the first operator. So Ace. Ace right now is a meta operator. Last season, I would have put him as an always strong operator with his nerf, but now with the nerf of Wamai and Jager, his smokes are just so useful for site executes. He can open up 3 rotate holes for his team in relative ease, and they can do them really quickly. And he's also very hard to bandit trick. So yeah, he's an S tier operator. Oh, and he's got the AK-12. Alibi. Alibi, I would actually put in D now. Last season, I would have put her in C. This season, I'm putting her in D because I think with Frost getting the introduction of her, shotgun, Frost is actually a much better pick than Alibi is now. She's got a shield, a shotgun, and a 1.5 on her gun, whereas Alibi, she only has a shield, a shotgun pistol, which isn't as effective, and her submachine gun, which has a really good high rate of fire. It's good for ranked. I would say it's a great ranked gun, and if you're looking to just frag out, perfect. But if you're looking to bring a shield, which is why you would bring an Alibi or a Frost, I would say, yeah, Frost is just better right now. She's pretty outclassed at this moment. Amaru, I would say she's situationally good. If you know how to play Amaru right, if you know how to incorporate timing and good teamwork and coordination, her grappling repel can actually be really strong. For the most part, this is going to be balanced based off of their utility, not so much their guns. But on top of that, she also has a G8. Like a G8, in my opinion, is one of the top 4, maybe 3 guns in all of attack. The high rate of fire, the high capacity magazine is just something that most defenders just can't compete with in a straight one-on-one gunfight. Ash. Okay, so before this patch, I would have put Ash as a meta operator. She's got 3 flashes, two explosives, and with the Jager Wamai meta, she was absolutely critical for teams to succeed in competitive play and probably in rank too. Now I'm going to put her strong. Like she's not meta anymore. You don't need to bring her, but she does have that new buff to her utility, where she now has 3 Ash charges, which in and of themselves can define a whole round, right? And she's really pretty self-reliant, but she needs when it comes to destroying things. But in order to get destruction on them, she's gonna need someone to clear for her now, so she's not as independent as she used to be. So yeah, A is a good spot for her. Bandit, I would say he is situationally good. I would say You know, I'm gonna put him situationally strong. We'll see. I might move him down a little bit after here. But basically, he's a worse form of Cade. Cade can do basically anything that Bandit can do with a little bit more success. They both have the same secondary utility as C4 and barbed wire. But Bandit in and of himself is he's an okay operator. He's not terrible. He's, you know, the MP7 is always a fantastic gun. He can Bandit trick, which is pretty unique to him, but it's risky in the current meta. Everyone knows how to counter a Bandit trick right now, and I would say, you know, if you're on the right team and you've got the support around the Bandit trick, then it can be strong. But without it, it's not really something you want to be bringing. Blackbeard. This might surprise a lot of you guys, but I actually have Blackbeard going to situationally good. Blackbeard, he's an operator. You know, he's got his face shield, really strong with that face shield, and he's good at locking down angles, especially online right now and in ranked games. You're going to find, you know, the swing or be swung meta is just past. It's barely left, and it's still a little bit the case because it is online. So Peeker's advantage is always the thing. Well, his utility gets rid of Peeker's advantage. That's what his utility does, and it also eats a headshot, so it gives you a second chance at life. So I would say it's a pretty good operator. I would say for competitive, it's situationally good because he's also got flashbangs. But for ranked, I would even say he's strong. He's a strong operator to bring. And there's a reason why most people, you know, you see them typing in chat every time Blackbeard's brought. All right, next operator is Blitz. Blitz, I would say, is mostly outclassed right now. He has some opportunities where he's okay. Let's type that in there. Okay, mostly outclassed though, right? Yeah, there are some times where he's okay. Like you can, if you are mint on Dark Zero, you know, Blitz might be a good operator for you guys. But for most people, he's just outclassed by Monty in every single capacity. He doesn't really have a lot of ability to like get to the targets that he needs to. He needs to rush targets. He needs to get in their face, flash them with the shield, and beat them down. But there's not a lot of opportunities to do that. He's a very execute heavy operator, and he's not that good. Maybe in ranked, like low rank, I could see Blitz being oppressive if you know how to use him, or just are decent with him, because, you know, most of the low ranked players, you know, I'm talking like low golds to copper, they probably see a Blitz and they panic. They don't know how to deal with him, right? But once you realize you can just shoot his feet, you can put goon mines down, you hit him with an explosive with the new shield nerf, he's just not that good anymore. Buck used to be a meta operator, but ever since they took his nades away, he's been a little bit outclassed by Sledge. That being said, he is still the king of soft destruction. I'm gonna put always strong because you don't need the utility clear as much anymore, or but you still need explosives. So in competitive, I would put in competitive situationally strong, and in ranked I put always strong. Like I said, his ability to open up walls is unparalleled. There's no one else who can open up as many walls as quickly and as safely as he can. His C8, once you learn to control the recoil, is a fantastic gun with a really good rate of fire and good damage output. I think Buck is still a really strong operator. The problem is, you know, as you'll see with Sledge, you know, we might as well just do Sledge while we're talking about it. Sledge is a meta operator, right? Like, if you're bringing Sledge, you're just a benefit to your team. You can open up 25 rotate holes, right? And on soft walls, you've got nades, and you got the L85 and an SMG11. Like, he's also really strong. So I would say, you know, Buck he's strong. I'll put him as a strong operator, but oftentimes you're not going to see him being played because Sledge can do everything Buck can do, plus he's got nades, except for one exception, which is the vertical play, or like above you, hitting the ceiling above you. It's the only thing Buck's really got going for him right now, other than, you know, he can do everything Sledge can do, but faster when it comes to soft destruction. All right, next operator, Capitao. Capitao is an always strong operator. I feel like he may have lost flashes, and that might have irked a lot of people the wrong way, but you'd be surprised at how effective having a secondary hard breach tool is, especially on this operator. If you play him, it kind of puts him back into the role that he needs to be played, which is further back in the line, kind of like your secondary support / execute operator. And if you get good with Capitao's flame bolts and smoke, he is oppressive. He is downright oppressive. I would say he's probably got one of the highest skill ceilings in the entire game for an operator to learn. But once you learn it, oh my God, you are a game changer if you can coordinate with your team. Even to not coordinate with your team, he can do things like one-way smokes, which, you know, he's the only operator that can do that, and that is amazing. his ability to just, you know, put a smoke at chest height. And if you want, I can do a video on that later. But one-way smoke's amazing. And then he's also got area denial with his fire, which is something that, you know, the only other attacker I can imagine who does that is Fuze with area denial. So that is really, really strong. Castle, I'd say he's situationally strong. It depends. It depends on the strat. Normally in competitive, I would say he's situationally strong. In ranked, I would say he's probably situationally good. He's one of those operators that I feel like he has a very high skill ceiling to master. You need to be communicating with your teammates. You need to make sure that they're on the same page as you so that they can not get hurt by having castles. Like, for example, say if they're trying to rotate back to site and you've castled a particular door frame and they didn't know that because you didn't communicate it, then castle's actually a pretty bad operator. But if you can communicate, if you can, you know, have a structure of how you want to lay out the castles that makes sense for your teammates, he's actually pretty strong. And if they aren't bringing Sledge right now, he's even stronger. One of the biggest weaknesses here is, you know, Sledge is a direct counter to Castle, and Sledge is a pretty meta operator. So most teams should have, especially in competitive, should have a Sledge up, and that just makes Castle a lot weaker in the current moment. All right, Caviera. So there's different trains of thoughts on this. She is the terror of ranked, but in competitive, if you pick her, you're trolling because teams should be able to drone you out. Her utility is an active utility, like her primary utility is active. And in order to justify bringing her, you need to get an interrogation. If you can get interrogations consistently, I would say she's a strong operator, especially in ranked. But in competitive, it's really hard to pull off interrogations because teams are typically more coordinated. They're working together. There's never just one of them by themselves that you can just go and interrogate off by yourself. The drone works a lot better. So I'm going to put her somewhere in the middle. All right. In ranked, if you're good at that and you like solo play, Caviera, I'd say, is a pretty strong operator. You know, a lot of players exclusively rely on their audio, which I think is her underrated aspect of her kit, to detect people because drone work isn't as great in ranked. But in competitive, it's just not the case. So let's put her as situationally good. All right, somewhere in the middle. She's not outclassed by anybody because there's no one. I mean, in terms of roamers, there's better roamers, but there's no one who does what she does in terms of interrogation. That's a completely unique thing to her. Clash, I would say, is situationally strong. If she's got a good team behind her, you know, she's going to have good support. That's a lot of good frags that you guys are going to be able to get. She provides really good information, and she can go to positions other people can't go to. And when you're in ranked, you know, especially in the lower ranks, most people can't deal with Clash. Like, they just don't know how to deal with her. They try to go and kill Clash with like Zofia stuns, and then they get shot in the back when they have the utility out, or shot in the face with the utility out. Doc. Okay, so in competitive, I would say he's mostly outclassed, but in competitive or in ranked, I'd say he's pretty good. I'd say, you know, he's got a 1.5, which in of itself is really good. He's got the ability to sustain himself. He's got the ability to, you know, help his teammates who get low. He's got the ability to pick up down teammates. In ranked, I think that's really, really good. I think in competitive, you're not going to see, unless like there's a strat built around a Doc combo, you're not really going to see a lot of Doc. And I feel like he's good. He's a good operator. But, you know, there needs to be, you know, some situations, or the situation needs to facilitate Doc a little bit there. Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi is a strong operator right now, especially with the mute, you know, Valkyrie mute Mozzie combo coming back right now. I think Valkyrie is a really good substitute for not being able to get information in to go find where players are playing. Her ability to call and for you guys to push off it adds a lot of pressure to anyone that's trying to roam. So yeah, I think Dokkaebi's a really good operator. She's also got frag grenades now, which, you know, makes her even stronger. I would almost put her as an always strong. Actually, I'm going to put her as an always strong operator because of the introduction of frag grenades. While the utility clear meta, you know, might have been nerfed with the Jager Wamai, there's still a lot of shields, a lot of bubbles, a lot of banshees, a lot of Goyo shields that you need to destroy as an attacker. And the fact she has nades means she can contribute to that, no problem. Echo, who was once on his throne of meta, I would say is situationally strong now. I actually think he's a very solid champion. And yes, his drones are not invisible anymore, which is a big nerf to Echo. However, it will promote people to be playing Echo in a manner which I see as more beneficial to the team anyway, which is actively droning your roamers. and actively droning your defenders. And Echo drones, when they're on the roof, they're still relatively quiet, and they can still provide a lot of good information, similar to a Valk camera. That being said, and they're also evasive. They can evade when attackers are coming after them to help the roamers, you know, take the swing. Echo is actually a really good operator. I think people are underestimating or overestimating rather, how big this nerf is. I think he still has a place. He still has a very good place in ranked and in competitive play. If you know how to play him and you're willing to actively join your teammates in, I think he could be he can define most rounds. Ella's D tier. She's mostly outclassed. And who's she mostly outclassed by? Melusi. Melusi's Banshees are they're just basically better Ella mines. They stay up for longer. And while Ella can disorientate people and kind of throw people up for surprises, because normally Banshees get droned out, her gun is just in a terrible state. I think it's the only RNG based gun in the entire game, which in and of itself means you should never be bringing Ella. All right. Finka. I'd say she's situationally good. I'd say in competitive play, she's not as relevant. There's much better operators that have grenades, and the reason why I put her situationally good is because of how she plays in ranked. If you have a team, you know, you're playing with a bunch of randoms, or your team just can't hit their shots, Finka is a great way to, you know, help your teammates hit their shots. In competitive play, most of your teammates can hit their shots, and Finka actually hurts you. But in ranked, I think she's got a really high win rate for a reason. She's able to pick up her teammates. She's able to give them boosts. There's a lot less headshots in ranked, which means people are taking more body shots, and she can give them a boost of HP if they need it. She can pick up her down teammates, which is also really, really good. I've won rounds with that by itself, and she has grenades, and she's got the big LMG. Finka is actually not a bad operator in ranked. In competitive, I would try and stay away from her. Okay, Frost. Frost is this is one that might surprise you guys. Frost used to be mostly outclassed, D tier kind of operator, but I think she's actually a C tier operator now, because she's one of the few operators that actually has a shield that's relevant. Oh, I forgot Echo has a shield. I'm gonna bump him up one for a second there. Yeah, Echo's got a shield. That makes him always strong. There's not very many operators that have shields anymore, and because if you have a shield on defense, it's still a very, very good piece of utility to bring. And yeah, like I feel like, you know, with Frost having the shield, having the new shotgun, she's able to make rotate holes. She's got a 1.5. Her utility is not terrible because people aren't used to seeing Frost around anymore. So I think she's a situationally good operator. I think she can roll with any one of these operators that are up here and be completely relevant in both ranked and competitive play. And yeah, just because people aren't used to looking at Frost mats anymore, Frost mats have become stronger in and of himself. Fuze, situationally good. He's one of the few operators in the game, like I mentioned before, like with Capitao, who can, you know, perform area denial with his cluster charges. He's not so great on top floor sites, so the site needs to be, you know, first floor or basement for him to be successful. Because if you're trying to put cluster charges on windows, you're gonna die. Fuze, if there's castle up though, you know, you can do that. But yeah, he's also got an ability to clear utility like no one else. He's got 20 explosive pucks, which, you know, if you're attacking like something like Consulate Garage and they're putting a whole bunch of, you know, Banshees and Maestro cameras and barbed wire, he can clear all of that in like 2 seconds, which is unique to him as himself. But he needs to have a team that's working around him. He needs to be able to get into those positions, and he needs to be able to use that utility. But if he can, you know, it pays off really well. He's also got breaching charges, which complements his kit perfectly of how you want to play him. And he's got the hard breach tool. So in a pinch, you know, you can use, if you need a hard breacher, you know, Fuze is right up your alley. Glaz, situationally strong. With the Glaz buff and with the lowering of Jager and Wamai, I found that Glaz is a pretty good operator. If you bring the right lineup with around him, you know, such as like a Ying or a Capitao, you're going to find a lot of success with Glaz. As long as you're able to keep smokes up in front of him, he's able to move quite a bit and get a lot of success off of his movement. Goyo, I will say, is situationally strong. He used to be always strong, but I feel like with one of the things that made him really, really strong, or even meta-ish, was the fact that his shields were hard to destroy because of the fact that Jager and Wamai were up. Now that Jager and Wamai have gone down, he respectively has also gone down a little bit here because his shields won't stay up as long. He still provides 2 shields, which is in and of itself an amazing utility. And they can, you know, delay the enemy. And he's got a vector and a TCSG. Like, there's a lot Goyo brings to the table. He's a strong operator. He's pretty much strong, but you need to have the right lineup to kind of back up a Goyo in order to justify bringing him a lot of the time. Gridlock. I'd say Gridlock's always strong. Her with the buff to her track singers, how fast she can get them out, and the fact she's got smoke and she's got the SA80. Yeah, I would say, or I think it's the AUG. I don't know, her assault rifle. Yeah, I'd say she's an always strong operator. I feel like she's underutilized because, you know, she's kind of outclassed by another operator, which I will put in here as meta. And I think you guys all know who she is. But for the most part, you know, Gridlock is a very, very strong operator, and people underestimate the amount of sound notification that the track singers give. And they kind of just think, oh, well, they can just be shot off and they're easy to see. Well, it's like, yeah, but then they got to dump a whole mag into reload before they can push, which is a lot of time if you're on your toes as an attacker to be able to catch that flank watch. All right, let's keep going. Hibana's S tier. The new buff to Hibana, the fact she has flashbangs, she's got 2 really good guns. The Bearing 9 even feels nicer this patch, I feel like, than it did in previous patches. She can, if you watch my other video, which will be linked up above, you can see, you know, Hibana, you can make 4 pellet rotates, which means she can make 4 rotates in reinforced walls. She's basically got 4 hard breach tools in her pocket if you know how to use her properly. And she can also, like, you know, open up mirrors, open up hatches. She's just a really strong operator right now. Iana, I would say, is situationally strong. She's got grenades, great gun, and she counters the mute Mozzie meta pretty well right now. You know, mute jammers will block her, but Mozzie pests won't, which means you're going to be getting more information. Or if you do lose a bunch of drones to the mute Mozzie combo, and you get through the rat's nest that is, you will have drones and information in your back pocket afterwards. So for that reason, Iana's in situationally strong. IQ is, again, situationally strong. I feel like, actually, I'm gonna say she's situationally good. I'm gonna put her situationally strong. I know a lot of people will give me flack for this, but I feel like IQ has really fallen off in terms of utility. She's got a Claymore and breaching charges, which don't do a whole lot with her kit, and her gadget, you know, doesn't really provide anything spectacular unless they're like running a Valk. Even Echo, you don't need Valk for Echo anymore. So unless they're really running a Valkyrie, I don't really see a whole lot of reason why you would bring IQ. You could typically do everything she does with a drone, and with Zero just does everything she does a little bit better, I feel like. That being said, you know, she still has the G8. She still has 3 excellent primary weapons. All 3 are really good, and she brings a lot to the table. So yeah, I'm gonna put her strong. All right, Jager, great gun. Good ADSs. ADSs aren't as good as they used to be, but they're, I would say, in rank they're even stronger, and in the right situation they're still just as strong. What you're gonna have to find though is you're gonna have to stack these ADSs to make them relevant. If you're not stacking ADSs, they're not relevant for the most part, other than being like a warning. So I'm gonna put him as an always strong operator. I feel like he's still like a good operator to be bringing, but he's not like overbearing like he was before with my combo. Jackal, situationally strong. His eye scanning track or his foot scanning tracker tool, excellent tool. It provides a lot to your team. It's going to give you guys a lot of information that you want to get. He has smokes. He has a shotgun. Great gun. You know, strong operator. Cade, I would put as almost as a meta operator. Like his ability to, you know, electrify hatches, to electrify walls. He is the king of wall denial right now, in my opinion. And he's able to diversify it, right? If he, with Thatcher being nerfed, like, yeah, Thatcher might be able to get his Cades off the wall or like on electrifying things, but they don't destroy them anymore. Which means if a Cade is Cade tricking, he can just pick up those electric claws and go position them somewhere else, and you can kind of conduct like a delay with the Cade charges. It's really good. So Cade, I would say, is a meta operator in terms of being the strongest wall denial operator in the game. Callie, situationally strong. She still has 3, I don't know what they're called. I think they're called lances. 3 lances, which basically allow you to destroy utility or get the wall open. And in a Thatcher Mav ban, you know, she's a strong operator to bring when you need to get wall denial for free, and teams aren't really expecting you to bring her. So she can be really strong. Kapkan, situationally good. His traps are okay if they're positioned in a certain way. You can use them as info gathering, similar to Lesion. He's got a 1.5. He can have a nitro cell or impacts, which makes him an ideal roamer. And now with the reinforcements being even quicker, and the fact that he doesn't even have to reinforce, he just became a whole lot better of an operator because his prep phase is a lot quicker now. Lesion, I would say situationally strong. Similar to Kapkan, you know, he's got impacts, he's got the ability to rotate, he can get information from audio cues off of his traps, and yeah, I feel like he's a good strong operator. The T5 is a fantastic gun, and if you're bringing him, you know, you're gonna have a lot of success. I'd say in ranked, it's even more relevant, right? Or if you're in T3 comp, I'd say Legion's a great operator because you're gonna stop all those crouch walking Ashmanes from getting into your sight and just surprising you everywhere because they're getting hit by goose. Lion, situationally strong. His scanner's still really good. On certain maps, it can be downright busted still, and especially maps where you don't have a lot of room to move as a defender. He's got a good primary gun. He comes with flashbangs. He's also got the hard breach tool. There's not really a whole lot wrong with bringing a Lion. The only thing you really need to make him situationally strong is a team that can work around Lion and the coordination to, you know, push off his EE1Ds. Maestro, he's still a meta operator. He's got the Alda, he's got a shotgun pistol, he's got impacts, he's got barbed wire, and he's got he's got like the cameras, right? And with the cameras being up, you know, it still requires a lot of utility for them to clear. You can't go wrong. You pick Maestro, your team's, you know, you're picking a meta operator. Maverick. Maverick's always strong. He's got grenades. He's got a good gun. He's a 3-speed. He can, you know, act as a Thatcher to get, you know, wall denial off of walls. He can open up a wall straight up by himself, provided, well, not by himself. If he's got soft breach beside him, he's always a strong operator. The only disadvantage of Maverick is he's a little slow. He's a little slow in getting things done. So, you know, if you're going to open up a wall, it typically will take you probably about 20 seconds to get it open, which is slow compared to the other operators that can get it open in, you know, 5 to 6 seconds. Melusi, she's still a meta operator. With Melusi, you don't even need to bring barbed wire most of the time. You can just put banshees where you need to. She brings nitro cells, she brings impacts, and she's got an angle grip on an MP5, which if you watch any of my streams, you'll know that that's just nasty. Mira, I think Mira's back in being a meta operator. I think last stage I would have put her probably as an always strong, is because, you know, if you're bringing Mira, you can't always bring the Jager Wamai. But I feel like in terms of like denying area and slowing down attackers, Mira's now back in a prime position here to take over that role from Jager Wamai. I think you're going to see a lot more Mira bans come out this season than any other season, and with good reason, because Mira's just a really strong operator at the moment, because she compensates for the lack of shields, the shield Miras basically. Monty's always strong operator. You need a teammate behind him, but actually, yeah, I'll put him situationally strong. If you have a good team behind Monty, it's downright impressive. There's not really a whole lot anybody can do to stop him. And he's going to be able to get good information, and he's going to be able to, you know, deny air map control to the defenders by just pushing up there and adding that pressure. So as long as he's got someone following up him, or, you know, he's not pushing into corners that he doesn't know the angles to, and he knows his shield placement, Monty's a really strong operator. And against new teams, against ranked teams, he's really oppressive. But you need to have a Monty that understands and is able to maintain situational awareness. It's really important. If a Monty just pushes, he's not doing you any favors. Mozzie, I would say Mozzie is an always strong operator. I don't think there's a single situation in which, you know, bringing a Mozzie hurts your team, you know, unless you need something specific for your lineup. I think Mozzie is an always strong operator. I feel like his ability to, you know, deny information and deny information gathering area to an attacking lineup is important, because of how important information is to attackers in this game. If they don't have drones, they're just going to be funneling and trying to play trades, and, you know, that's easy to counter once you know the drone count. Mute, I would put there just right beside him. I think Mute is an always strong operator. I don't think you can really go wrong by bringing him. I don't think he's the best in terms of wall denial because of things like Cade. That being said, I do feel like his shotgun and his C4 kind of make up for that a little bit. And when you combo him with Mozzie, you've got one of the strongest combinations in the game for the defending side. Nokk, I would say there's no one that does what she does, but I don't think she does what she does very well. I would say you're kind of trolling if you're bringing Nokk. I mean, she does have nades, so I'll put her in okay just because she has nades. Her gun is okay. It's not great. It's got a 1.5 on it. Her grenades are great, but that's all she's got. She's really just like she's got grenades. Like that's the way I look at Nokk. There's not really a team that's so heavily reliant on information unless you're at the top T1 levels. You know, most teams aren't dependent on information to make Nokk relevant in a match. And while in Pro League you might see her be good, she's not good anywhere else, right? I think she needs some sort of buff to make her a little bit more relevant, or maybe a redesign already, because I don't see her being all that useful right now. Nomad, I would say Nomad's a meta operator. She's the best flank watch in the game. She's able to put down her air jabs. She's got 3 flashbangs, which means in a pinch, you can bring just Nomad and have 6 clear. And that should get all the ADSs and all the Womais if you can time it properly with your team. Most, I guess, 4 magnets, 3. Yeah, so most of them. But you shouldn't be using her for that anyway. You should be using her on flank watch. She can set up her air jabs. If you got a good Nomad, there's not really a damn thing anybody can do to flank you unless they have impacts in their pocket and are able to make something out of that. Next operator, Oryx. Oryx, I'd say situationally good. I think with a T5 in his pocket with a 1.5 on it, I would say with the ability to jump through hatches, the ability to shotgun things open, the ability to rotate around the map faster than anybody. I would say he's situationally good in competitive. I would say he's a strong operator in ranked, just because teams aren't ready for the reposition as effectively here, and you have a little bit more. And no teams normally don't have things like flank watches established, and you're normally able to just come up behind teams depending on the map and flank them. So I think he's a really good operator. Pulse, I would say, is situationally strong. He's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit. He used to be like one of the best info gatherers in the game, and he still kind of is, but you kind of need to have a team that's, you know, paying attention to him and or that's able to support him and play off of that information. And you know, some maps he's just not good. If you bring a Pulse, he's going to die relatively early. Okay, moving on. Rook, I would say Rook is situationally good. I'd put him ahead of Doc a little bit. He has impacts. He's got a 2.5. He's got Rook armor, which is a unique utility, which doesn't allow you to die to grenades. And when ADSs and my magnets aren't as relevant anymore, the ability to not die to grenades off the first grenade is a big deal. And if you can combo them with the Doc, I actually would say these two in combination with each other are strong. They're a strong combination. Because you know they counter nades for the most part. Smoke is a S tier operator. I'd say he's probably one of the most meta defining operators. He's got great plant now. He's got a shield. He's got all the construction needs you need for your team. He doesn't have to set up reinforcements anymore, which means he can do even more construction. He's got the SMG-11, which is a great secondary. I don't think there's really a reason why you shouldn't be bringing a smoke. There are some times where he doesn't, you know, he's not ideal. Like maybe you want to mute instead of a smoke. But for the most part, I'd say Smoke's he's one of a kind. He can single-handedly win a round if the clock timer's down to about 30 seconds, and force, you know, attackers into force their clock timer down to about 0, and for them to make mistakes. So yeah, I think Smoke's like, I think he's been beaten to death with you know, what everyone knows what he can bring to the table. I think he's great, and the fact he didn't lose his shield is added bonus. Thatcher's always strong. He used to be meta when he used to be able to destroy utility outright. Now I would say he's strong. He's going to be able to, you know, get things like walls open. That's not being like bandit tricked or K tricked. Actually, even K tricking can't stop a Thatcher. And he's got good guns. And yeah, he just pairs with every hard breach, which is, you know, one of the fundamental things attackers need to do is they need to open walls, and he's able to do that. Furthermore, though, I think a lot of people are sleeping on him because they only bring him with hard breachers, and they don't understand that he can do a lot more. Basically, you know, 90% of all the utility in the game is electronics based, and he can disable all of them. So he's also a very good execute operator. You know, if the team's setting up banshees, or they're setting up Maestro cameras, or they're setting up, you know, Lesion traps all around your site execute, he throws down 2 Thatchers, and all of that is disabled for 10 seconds. I think I'd say 15 seconds, and gives you a window to basically come in and execute on site without them having any utility, which is always really strong. Thermite, another hard breacher. I'd put him as always strong. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Thermite right now. From what I was reading on Twitter the other day, people are like, well, his gun sucks. Ace does everything Thermite does, but better. But that's not true. That's actually not true at all. Thermite, you know, as he says, he can open up a big fucking hole. And, you know, people underestimate how powerful a big hole is versus, you know, the little hole that Ace makes. You know, Ace makes a vaultable hole that can be easily impact tricked. Thermites, while they can be impact tricked, it can make a hole which is a lot easier for you to pie corners and a lot more efficient, and you could run through them. Like being able to sprint through a breach that you're making is important, because the vault animation is like an uncancelable animation, and if a team is on their game and know you're vaulting, they just need to pre-fire the middle of the breach that, you know, Ace would make. So Thermite's still a good operator, and he can make 2 massive holes. Like that's really important. His gun's good. He's also got flashbangs, which is really good for clearing utility. I would say don't sleep on Thermite. I don't think you're ever trolling if you're bringing him. I still think Ace and Hibana can be better in most situations than Thermite. Like, for example, Ace, if they're not impact tricking, he can put 2 Ace charges on top of each other, and it'll make, you know, a runnable hole. But for the most part, yeah, I think Thermite is slept on by a lot of people. I think he's a really strong operator. Twitch, previous seasons, before she got her flashbangs, I would say she was situationally good. Now I think she's actually a strong operator. On some maps, she can be downright nasty. People aren't looking for Twitch drones anymore. You give someone who is a competent droner a Twitch drone, and you'll see them, you know, put in a lot of work and get a lot of utility. I'm talking like Maestro cameras aren't safe, Miras aren't safe. Basically, all the top tier meta utility aren't safe if Twitch is on the board. And if you have a good Twitch droner who knows and understands and appreciates the sound cues of Twitch. And she's got the F2, and she's got flashbangs. So like there's nothing she brings that's bad for her team. She just takes a little bit of skill and practice to use. This is the operator I'm going to be playing the most this season, I think, on attack, because I think she's going to give me the most results in ranked this season. Valkyrie. Valk is S tier. I think personally, I think Valkyrie is the best operator in this entire game with the Z-ping mechanic that's going on right now. I think the fact that she can throw her cameras anywhere and actively Z-ping players is broken. I think that's I think that needs to be nerfed. If you guys want to actually check something out, go check out Foxy's video or comments. He made an idea. I think Get Flanked actually made a video on Foxy's comment about a potential nerf to Valkyrie, which I think would be fantastic. If you guys see this, go and support it, which is, you know, Valk cameras can only last outside for 10 seconds. You know, while they're up for 10 seconds, you can make a play off of them. But after that, they're disabled, similar to how like an Echo Drone gets disabled outside. And I think that simple nerf would be a massive change to Valkyrie, and I think it would bring her way down more in balance. And you can still make those run out plays based on information, but you have to, it's like you need to make a judgment call. It takes a little bit more skill to do that. I think that'd be a great nerf. Vigil, situationally strong. I think he's a good operator. I think he's one of the best roamers in the game. He's pretty self-sufficient when it comes to denying information to attackers. They don't know exactly where he's at, as long as he stays mobile. He's also got impacts to help him make rotates. He's got 2 excellent guns in his primary and secondary with the CZ and the K1A. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Vigil. I'd say in competitive, he's a little bit stronger too than he is in ranked, because there's less droning in ranked. Wamai, I would put Wamai still as always strong. I don't think you can really go wrong with Wamai. He's also got impacts now. Oh yeah, one sec. Valkyrie's got impacts. What? She's like the best. She is the best roamer in the game. Like there's, oh my god, it's insane. I think like everyone's like, oh, I'm just gonna bring the Nitrous out because I can get a kill off it. But impacts, you'd be foolish not to consider bringing impacts on some maps. Just excellent utility. Wamai, same thing. He can now impact trick, and he can stay on site. So it's kind of actually. Well, I took away his shield. They gave him like another buff to kind of being an anchor on site. Like, well, Mai is someone you need to, you want to stack your discs and you want to put him down, which means he used to always have to be playing kind of close to site, because that's, where you're going to see most of the nades and most of the utility go down. But now on top of that, he's got impacts, which means he can impact trick and he can throw down his discs. He's still a strong operator. Don't count out Wamai just because he lost one disc in his shield. He's still a strong operator. He's not meta anymore, but he's still a strong operator. Warden, I put him as situationally strong. I think he needs a buff, and the buff that I would like to see Warden get is the same one that Glaz got, so that he can move around with his glasses a little bit more freely. Basically the same timers that Glaz have, I think Warden should have. With the flashbangs not being used as much for clear, with smokes not being used as much for clear, I think you're going to see Warden actually be able to use his utility effectively right now. I actually don't think he needs a massive buff other than the small one to his glasses just to allow him to use them a little bit more. I think he actually could be a pretty good operator in this meta, just because the amount of flashes that are actually going to be used for trying to blind people and the amount of smokes that are going to be used for executes now, because teams don't need to bring flashes to clear. I think he's actually got a good chance of being a good operator. He's also got a shotgun, which doesn't really pair well with the SMG-12. SMG-12, I think, is still in kind of a bad place. But he does have the MPX with a 1.5, and he has his shield. He's a strong operator. I think in the right situations, Warden is going to excel quite a bit. Ying, I'm going to put Ying as always strong. Like the Jager Wamai Murph is a direct buff to Ying. She's going to be able to get more Candelas out, going to be able to get more smokes out. She can single-handedly, shut down Jager's ADSs if he tries to stack him, and still blind Jager afterwards, right? I think Ying is definitely a strong operator. Takes some skill to use, right, to time her Candelas right and to make sure you know when to push off it, and how to, make sure you're getting a good cluster charge and being able to explode off of that. But as an execute operator, she's top tier. She's one of the best execute operators in the game. Zofia, I would put Zofia still in meta. Fantastic gun, fantastic entry. She's got 2 clear and she's got 2 explosives. She's the only, like, Ash, now that Ash lost her flashbangs, there's no one else that can also clear and explode things in the current meta. And I think her concussion, because maybe she doesn't need to use her concussions anymore on clear because there's less of it. She's gonna find more success because she's gonna be actually able to concuss people and use her utility as it's designed to be used. Zero, I would put Zero as I put him as always strong. I think Zero is a really, really strong operator. I think even though he lost his nades, the ability to bring out 4 cameras is extremely powerful. It's quick and easy information that defender or attackers can get from mostly outside the building, and he's going to find a lot of success with that. Aruni, I'd say she's good, and I don't think she's like bad because she's not she didn't get released in A, B, or C, SA or B. I think she's in a good spot. I think, like, we'll see come next season. I think with Jager and Wamai, she could be a pretty good combo to like try and make a triple threat. But the problem is now you're bringing 3 operators just to deny clear, so you got to be sacrificing something else. She doesn't have a shield. She doesn't have a lot of other things. So if you're going to be bringing that combo, you're giving up another operator, which means you're giving up utility to be exploded. I don't think it's going to be that big a pain in the ass to deal with. And Tachanka, I would say he's strong. I think everyone overreacted, including myself, about his fire capability and how with him in combination with smoke could just deny area. But smoke denies area because you can't see and you can't live inside the smoke. The fire, you can still see and you can mostly live, so he might get a little bit more time of being able to put out fires, but I don't see how it delays or denies a push all that much. His fire seems to tick really slow. Maybe if the fire was like a little bit faster, it'd be a little bit better. Maybe that would be the buff he needs, but you can still see, which means you can shoot back without hampering your vision, which is really, really good. And then yeah, that's the tier list right now. Oh, one last thing with Tachanka. I think you can impact trick with him right now, so he might be the solution to the impact trick for Hibana. But we'll see how that plays out. We won't find that out in pro play until the next season, after invite, when both Tachanka and Aruni become available. Okay, with that, guys, it's a little bit of a long video, but I wanted to get you guys my thoughts on the current operator tier list. Let me know, down below if you guys have made it to this point. What do you guys think? Are there any ones that you guys want to fight on? I'll go to war down in the comment section down below. So let me know what your guys' opinions are about these operators. Maybe you guys see something that I don't see. Maybe you're going to be able to change my opinion. So I'd love to see what you guys think. Other than that, you guys make sure to like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and I will see you guys at the next video. Take it easy.